Since the early 90s, Chetan Parkyn has been mastering human design, the blueprint and guide of our individual nature. He is more than a leading practitioner of the system. As the author of the first major book on the subject, he's made it his mission to bring human design to the whole planet. Kim Serafini met Chetan to discover more.
Well, I like to be able to say I'm just being myself here. I've indulged in the world. I've travelled all over this wonderful planet. I've engaged in all kinds of different activities, met so many wonderful, amazing people around the world, and had a very privileged life as far as I can tell. But I'm not really going to compare it with anybody else's because I'm enjoying myself. So what am I? Who am I? Well, just whatever it is that shows up in a camera screen here. My life took a huge turn in 1979. I ended up in the ashram with Osho in India, and he guided people to find out about themselves, whatever it took. And I was fortunate enough to visit somebody he sent me to in Bombay, and he was somebody that was working from a system that was many thousands of years old. He was called a Chai Shastri, a shadow reader. And he basically told me every single last thing about myself. And I was 27 years old, and all of a sudden I'd had this mirror put in front of me, not only for things that had happened before, but all the things that were coming in the future. And he told me I was going to be doing the same work he was going to be doing. He actually invited me to come and work with him. So I didn't know what he was talking about, and I basically said, no thanks. He just laughed at me. He thought it was hilarious, because he said, you're going to do this kind of thing anyhow. So my suggestion is you start practicing. Find some system you like to work with and practice with it. This shadow reader had told me there's a system going to come into your life and you're going to be working with it, and you're going to introduce it to thousands of people all over the world. You're going to write books about it, and it's going to transform people's lives. So 27 years old, you know, I was a retiring mechanical engineer apparently at that time. And sure enough, in 1993, this human design showed up in my life. An old friend of mine sent me a chart, and it was a human design chart, and it was my chart. And I took one look at this chart. It's a funny triangular looking picture. And I knew right away this is what this shadow reader in India had been telling me about. And so from 1993 to the present time, I have been playing with human design. And it's a body of work. It's something I've gone very, very deeply into. I've completely dropped everything else I did, all other activities, and I just completely devote myself to playing with human design. And I do see the effect of it. It absolutely does transform people's lives. Kids get this stuff immediately. They completely understand human design. You show them the chart, you show them what I call the three keys, which are type, authority, and profile. Three very simple facets about human design, and everybody has their own type, authority, and profile. And when a kid understands this, which they get very quickly, and they start playing in their life using this, immediately their whole life starts taking off in a very different direction. So yes, absolutely, kids need to have this information and be encouraged to play with it, to be themselves. And more particularly, parents need to have this information as well, to know how to relate to these amazing people that come into their lives. And not just, oh, well, this is my kid and it's supposed to do this, that, and the other, and whatever the school tells them and whatever the job they're supposed to go into. I mean, we eliminate all this chaos that we get pushed into in our lives because we enter into things on our own terms, as we've been designed to do. So really, human design is a revolution. It's for parents and kids, it's for people in working situations, it's basically everybody can work with this. What I see about human design is it gives you a code of practice of how to live your life. I call it a self-remembering tool. You're basically equipped to deal with anything that life offers you. And let's just face it, life doesn't offer you the same thing all the time, unless you're really intent on having a boring life. Yeah? Life is offering you all kinds of different things. But according to your design, some of those things are going to work well for you and some are not. And so that's the thing of learning how to appreciate from the design. What can I say? Perhaps you have chosen this design for this lifetime, a soul agreement, right? When you understand how to work with your design, your specific, perfect design, then you're equipped to deal with anything that confronts you. And then you start finding the power in your own life and you start finding the joy in it. And life really does become a very merry dance.